the best video ever.
This is great.
We got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Hey.
Hey, yo, what's going on?
Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Welcome, everybody, to Say That Channel. If this is the first time that you're with us, my name is Janelle Villiers. That over there, and that over there, the guy over there in that square, his name is Winston Broderick, and we're excited to bring to you Say That Channel, where every Wednesday we are unapologetic about the ugly come up of entrepreneurship. So we've all heard those stories about how people start from nothing and then have massive success. But what happens in the middle? What happens during the ugly come up? Well, that's what we're here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. What are the pitfalls we need to circumvent? What's the mindset we need to have? And so every time that we do this, we have a topic question of the day. Thank you for your topic questions. These are awesome. And we only have 25 minutes to answer them. 25 minutes. And then what happens when we run out of time? Oh, no. What next? Where do we go? Well, when we've got our guests on, we hop on over into overtime. There's a link right there. You can find it also in the description below. And in overtime, we get into some of the deeper discussions about what we didn't get to talk about on this side. And you can watch all of the recordings once you're a Patreon member over there. So really excited for another Wednesday where we get to talk shop.
Let's do it.
So today's topic is your business your calling? Is it your calling? That's such a good question. So we are not the only ones who are going to be talking about this topic with you guys. We have an amazing guest with us. She is an entrepreneur, a networker's networker, and most importantly, she's an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay. I am talking about the one, the only, Theresa Schmidtman.
Our next guest.
Hello.
What's going on, Theresa? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, for those who have never met you before, let's hear your story about how you got into your entrepreneurship journey, and in particular with Mary Kay.
Sure. Yes. It was one of those things where I had been using the product for many years. And I was in retail management at the time. I'd been in retail management for almost 16 years, and our company was bought out. They did not want our division. So I knew for about 6 months in advance that I was going to be losing my retail management job. And my beauty consultant, who had been my beauty consultant for many years, had shared the Mary Kay opportunity with me almost monthly. I loved my Mary Kay products, but it had always just become so smooth and such the Mary Kay way, the way that she shared it with me, it became such a thing with us that she would always say, is this the time that you're ready to give this thing a try? Or do you just love giving me all your money? And we would laugh, and I would say, I just love giving you all my money, right? And so that day when she shared with me, something just clicked, and it wasn't the business that clicked. The thing that I heard was I could get my products at a discount, because I always had my own checking account separate from the family checking account. And I thought, if I ever get another job, I like having my own money, and I don't like my husband knowing how much I really spend on Mary Kay. And that's the only reason that I started was I wanted to get my amazing products at a discount so that I could keep getting all the things that I loved. I had no intention ever of doing this as a career. And that was over 11 years ago that I started just to get my products at a discount.
I love hearing that story. I think it's totally relatable because, for many of us, it's just kind of like, I love this thing, right? Whatever it is, if it's a service or a product. And like, and if there's a way that I can either get more of it or get it at a lower cost, like sign me up for that. Like,
Yes. Yes. Because I think for many of us, like I had no clue really honestly what direct sales were. I had no concept of what it really was other than the grassroots networking that I did with my consultant, who is now my director and my leader, right? Um, those were the things that we did together. Other than that, I had no idea what direct sales were. It just was not something that was in my world um, until I got into it. And as a good leader does, she said, "You know what our meetings are like. You've brought your things to them and taught us about the trends because I was in women's fashion. And you know they're fun. Come to the meetings, they'll be fun." And so, even though I wasn't actively working my business, I did attend the meetings. And so, I was supposed to go into retail, into another division when an opening happened.
Mm-hmm.
But they waited until all of my benefits had run out, and it was going to take me 10 years to get back my pay and all of my benefits. And then they offered me a position within the company. And so by that time,
Wow.
that's wild. Yeah.
it's a really long story, but I had lost my passion for it. I had lost my desire for it. And my heart wasn't there anymore. And I had accepted that position, but then I went to Mary Kay's seminar and I just caught my vision. I caught my dream and I came back and gave notice. And I never
Wow.
looked back. And that is kind of where it all started. But that was just the beginning of it. That was the beginning of the old me, the person that lacked confidence and the person that began a faith journey. And I feel like it's a whole different person that I talk about before this business and the person that's been in this business. Um, I was managing back in those days, and now I'm leading, and I'm
Well
definitely
said.
doing it with confidence, right?
Mhm.
And it's for whole other reasons. Managing is for a paycheck and telling people what to do, and leading is for so much more, right? It's for empowerment and building people up and helping them to discover their God-given dreams, and it's just everything.
Okay, so on that topic, as we start to get into like big dreams and all of that,
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about, is your business your calling? I think people can, from what they've heard from your story so far, I think people can get why you're the best person to answer this question. Um, is your business your calling, Theresa?
Absolutely. Because what happened for me is when I started working my business as a business, right? I'm pretty much a rule follower mostly. And we all do our skincare classes from a flip chart. So I was reading my flip chart, and what happened is we tell about how the company was founded with Mary Kay saying that if you put God first and your family second and your career third, that everything would just fall into place. Otherwise, it's chaos. I just came from retail where it was work, 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 work. And I lived that chaos, right? And so this was a new concept for me. And I gave my life to Christ when I was 7 years old at Vacation Bible School. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm from the South. I live in Minnesota right now, but I'm from the South. And so, but I had fallen away, right? I was not going to church, and I would call on the Lord when I needed something, but I was not living in relationship with Him. And so things started changing for me. And I came back into an intimate relationship with the Lord. And He drew me to Him from me sharing those things. It's just a whole crazy, other wonderful story that we don't have
Mhm.
time for in 25 minutes. But that's how it started, was with that intimate relationship with the Lord. And then I would also share about the Mary Kay Ash Foundation. The Mary Kay Ash Foundation has two causes: helping women who are affected by cancers, and helping women and children who have been affected by domestic abuse. My first marriage was one of both emotional and physical abuse. And prior to Mary Kay, I was very angry, very bitter, and that was the only way I ever referred to my first marriage. But through this journey of faith, I learned about forgiveness, and I learned about heart forgiveness.
Mm.
And when I did that, these doors that I had no clue were going to open started opening. Because when I started sharing about the Mary Kay Foundation, I never said anything about myself when I shared about that. And then little by little, I started opening up more and saying, that was my past life. That was me. I've lived that. And once I learned about that heart forgiveness, women started raising their hands in my classes saying, that's me. That's my mom. That's my sister. That's my daughter. I was not asking them to do that. That was God showing me where He was taking me in this business, and showing me my purpose and how it was all so just intricately woven together, and that it is so much so that I can never quit. Like, I cannot quit. I would not quit this. I mean, I could do it. I don't want to. I would never, right, want to do this for free, but I would, because it's so mixed together. Because I get to help women be empowered to look and feel beautiful from the inside out, literally from the inside out, knowing that there's hope, that they can get out of those relationships, that there are places that they can go for help and safety by putting skincare and makeup on them. How beautiful is that?
Yeah.
To get to help them feel so good and look so good when maybe they haven't in so long. And then, and that was something that when I was so depressed and sad that I lost a retail job that I didn't even know that I was so miserable in until I was out of, that I get to do this and still make women feel good, right? It's just,
Mhm.
it's so, I get so passionate when I talk about it because it literally is, right? And not only that, it's gone beyond that. Even outside of Mary Kay, um, during the pandemic, God led me to an abuse coach in New York through Facebook, and I'm now a co-founder of a worldwide movement called Living Free from Fear, and we help women share their stories in video format as part of the healing process when they have been in domestic abuse relationships.
That's
And
wow.
and that all has stemmed from me saying yes to Mary Kay. Had I not said yes to Mary Kay, that would never have happened because I'd still be a bitter, broken person.
Mhm.
It's, so yes, to answer your question, yes, I'm definitely living out my purpose through my business for sure.
So that story is actually quite amazing, just as Jeannie said, and If you're watching with us live or on the replay, please put in the comments if any of this is relatable or resonates with you. We want to hear from you. If you have any questions for Theresa, of course, put those in the chat as well, or in the comment section as well. Okay, so one of the things that I was thinking as you were talking is like, what do you think happens to folks when they're involved in a business that isn't their calling? Because to me, I don't know how many people feel as lined up as you just described with their own businesses. What do you think happens to people when they are involved in a business that's not their calling?
Well, having been there, I can tell you, we've gone through these trainings with our mentor when she comes to town, and not very long after I started my business, one of the very first trainings, we have to have a guest in order to attend. And I was brand new and I couldn't find a guest. So I asked my stepdaughter to come because it was by her college campus when she was in college. And my mentor asked our daughter, "What changes have you seen in your mom since she started her business?" And she said, "She's happy. She's happy. She doesn't come home from work depressed anymore. She doesn't come home swearing. I haven't heard her swearing lately." All of these things. So when someone's in, because see, remember, I didn't realize that I was like that. I didn't know that I was like that. Because when you're living something that you're truly not happy in, you're also not aware of the person that you are.
Yeah. Well, that's a mic drop right there.
Yeah. Again, if this is relatable, go ahead and put an R in the comment section. I think that is completely true. But go ahead.
So Theresa, at that point, when your stepdaughter mentioned that, were you aware of the changes? Did you see yourself that way?
No, it was so new to me then that I didn't realize that, because it's that thing that we teach now as leaders, right? That you surround yourself with the 5 people that you want to become, because you are like the 5 people that you are around the most, right? And that job for me was negative and life draining, right? Because it's never enough. It's never enough. Just more and more and more. They always want more out of you, but there's not really any reward for it, right? And so when you're in that kind of thing, there was never any downtime either, right? Because even as a management person in retail, your phone has to be on all the time. And as the manager in retail, the phone had to be on all through the night, because if there was an alarm that went off, you had to be able to go in the middle of the night. All of the things, right? There's never really any true downtime, any true family time ever. And so, no, I didn't realize that I'd even changed for the better when I had, because it starts out subtle, right? And then you get with other people that are better and lifting you up, and all of a sudden you're just changed. And then you notice it, because when you're around the people that you were with previously, you're like,
the conversation is like weird.
Oh. It's like you can't even hang with them anymore.
Yeah. One of the sayings I loved from our company was "Change your friends or change your friends," and I love that because I think when many people start out, and I probably get into this in overtime, just in some of the stuff you started sharing in the beginning of your story, but when you first start out, not realizing that you may have had a vision for your life. You may have had plans, which is I think a lot different than a vision, because I think many people get up and they make plans for the day, but they're not necessarily sure where those plans are going to essentially lead them. And so you're getting up and day after day, subconsciously or maybe even consciously on some level, you're aware that you're just going through the motions, and one of the things you said that, and I want to ask, you talk about not having as much time, and for many business owners, running a business takes up a lot of time, but it sounds like because you get so much value out of what you're doing, it doesn't come off that way anymore. It doesn't seem like as much of like a sacrifice at all. Would you say that's the case?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I love what I do so much. It's like, you know, I can't wait to get up,
Mm-hmm.
come downstairs to my office, spend time with the Lord, and get doing what I'm doing, because it's not about me. It is about the women. The way that I heard it said, and it didn't resonate until God made the changes in me,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not about me, it's about the women's whose hopes and dreams are attached to my actions. And that totally resonated with me. It I can't sit and do nothing, because if I don't share what I'm doing with other people, I said this to someone on my team the other day.
Mm-hmm.
If my leader had not persisted and shared with me every time until I was ready, where would I be if my life had never changed because she had not shared with me? If she had just stopped when I said no, or had never shared this opportunity with me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because the person I am now is not the person that I was then. It's not our choice to make that choice. It's not our place to make the choice for someone else that they're just going to say no. Or does that
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. You're
Yeah.
not there. Oh, what was the thing? It's like you're only there to receive an answer.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was that person that didn't know how to. Exactly right. I was just going through the motions every day, doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing because that's how I was raised. And I thought I was doing a good thing
Mm-hmm.
because I was working hard every day, but I didn't know how to dream. I
There we
didn't
go.
know that I was allowed to dream anymore. And that's so important because you have we have to live, right? We can't just work. That is biblical. We are not supposed to just go through every day working and working and working.
So, what would you say to the person who is? Oh, by the way, shout out to your earrings.
Um, they were a Mary Kay prize. Thank you so much.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, congratulations on them then.
Mhm.
As someone who's an entrepreneur and they're out there and they're thinking, man, like how, I'm looking at different areas in which to like start my business. How will I know that this is my calling? How, like, is there something that people should be looking for or that you would recommend, or what would you say to that person?
I don't think we always know our calling right away. I think we have to grow into it sometimes.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Because I could only imagine the beginning of your business. Like how, if you remember, how long before you made a sale after you said? Because I know you said you weren't essentially building it, but you were still coming to the
Um,
parties you guys were throwing.
yeah, I'd say it was probably 6 months before I started working the business as a business. But even with that, when I came into the business, I came in and I didn't really know anyone because I was always working retail, and I moved here with my husband. My husband's retired military, and I transferred from Chicago to Minnesota with the retail company. So I was always working. I didn't know anyone outside of retail. And so I had to build my business one person at a time, talking to strangers. I don't know a stranger. So when my director taught me how to do that, that's how I did it. But when I started doing that, my business blew up, my team blew up, and I was going fast.
Nice.
And I was about to promote myself to the next level of leadership, and then I hit a wall. And I talked to our leader that is above my leader, she lives in Canada, offices out of New York, and she's in like I don't even know how many pink Cadillacs that she's had. But I talk to her every morning, every Thursday morning for years. I've talked to her. And I remember sitting in my prayer closet. I'm one of those. And I remember sitting in my prayer closet, and I'm sitting there.
All right, I'm like the edge of my seat. What's happening in the prayer closet? We're gonna have to get into this in overtime, but really quickly, I think that what AC had to say here is spot on. Schmitty gives value in all of her actions, and that is reciprocated from others around her. Couldn't agree more.
Definitely.
Yeah, that
Let's
is
share
that
how
is.
to people want to connect with you before we go. Here is
You can find
Teresa's
Theresa on Facebook. There she is on Instagram. TikTok, people, TikTok. And there's her website, so you can go directly to what she is providing. She's a real person. She will respond to your direct messages. So go ahead and hit her up, ask her your questions, get a consultation. I know I am. I'm going to be getting a consultation. Can't wait to get it. Well, this has been amazing. I can't wait to get into more of this in overtime.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So make sure you follow us over to Overtime. The link is in the description. But until we see you guys next week, as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that.
Say that.
We'll see you guys.